No problem.
Great. Bueno, buen día, amigos de Retumba. Es un placer estar nuevamente con ustedes acá. Este día les cuento que tenemos una conversación con dos invitados muy especiales que tenemos aquí presentes. Tenemos a Sander y Stefan, miembros de Hippotraktor, que este próximo 15 de octubre estarán debutando con su álbum Meridian, otro excelente lanzamiento de la mano de Pelagic Records y que me fascinó y no dudo que a ustedes les van a encantar. Así que sin más preámbulos, vamos a comenzar con nuestra entrevista. So, hi guys, welcome. How are you
Hi,
doing?
Hello.
we're fine. I'm
Great.
fine, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
great.
How are you?
Great, thank you so much. And good evening there. It's already night there, right?
Sorry?
Good evening because it's already night there, right?
Yeah. It's 7:30 at night here.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
here is, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you both are from the same country. Well, here is almost the afternoon. So great to
Oh, okay.
be
Yeah.
here and have you both.
hmm
So first of all, thank you very much for taking the time to answer some of our questions. It is a really pleasure to conduct this interview and have you here. And let me start by saying that what an amazing album that you made. Really, I truly love what you have done with Meridian. And to be honest, at the beginning, I was already thrilled by the two singles that you dropped, but you really exceed my expectation when I listened to the whole album. Is truly, as you described in the promo, a heavy and cathartic experience in the best way possible. Believe me. So thank you so much for giving us such amazing music.
You're very welcome.
You're
Yeah, it
very,
was
very welcome.
yeah, that's really nice to hear. It was a lot of work, of course, recording this album,
hmm
but we're very happy with it. So happy that you like it too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you both. So let's see, let's get started with some questions. To start with, probably this was the first questions that dropped into my mind since I listened for the first time your music. Specifically with your first single, Manifest the Mountain. And as I can tell, this band Hippotraktor fits members from other bands like Stefan from Psychonauts, Sander from, I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, Lich?
Lich, yeah, that's
Lich.
right.
Great, thank you. And also before he shot her, right?
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
members from that
Exactly. Yeah.
band. Great.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious, how did Hippotraktor come to be? How did you guys get together?
Well, it started
Yeah,
in
Stefan, go ahead.
2017. The band started as an instrumental three-piece. It was just Kiaran, Lander, and Jacob. So they were basically a guitar, bass, and drum trio. And they played live with a backing track too, to add some additional layers. But in essence, they were a three-piece. And then after a few years of rehearsing and figuring stuff out and seeing what it would be like to play live, at some point, I guess Kiaran decided that he wanted to open the project up a bit and maybe invite some new members. And that's when he contacted me and Sander to see if we would be interested in joining. And he was actually really open with this question in the sense that we could really choose what we wanted to do. He said, yeah, if you want to play guitar, that's fine. If you want to sing, both, whatever, whatever you want to do. He just thought it would be cool to have us in the band. And so since we really loved his music, we had heard, of course, the EP before that. And I even remember hearing some of the first demos. Yeah, we obviously immediately said yes because it's such amazing music, and to be a part of that, yeah, is great.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Great. You want to add something, Sander, to what Stefan respond?
Oh no, not really. It is as I remember as it went down. Yeah, I was also very happy with the question because Kjaran showed me a lot of the music Hippotraktor already was making, and I was
Mhm.
really loving it. I really liked, as Stefan said, the first EPs were wonderful. Um, so I was very happy to join when the question came. My yes was very fast. It was like, yeah, of course, let's go.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah.
that is really amazing. Great. Thank you for answering. That is really, really amazing. And just out of the record, how do you pronounce the name of the EP? I think it's a French word. Who? I don't know if I'm wrong.
It's a French word, but he played with it. I don't think it's a real thing. It's called po. You just say it
Yeah.
po. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I was trying to search that word in the translator, Google Translator,
Mhm.
and just poo. Oh, okay. Then it's poo. Awesome. And another questions. Well, of course, this is the debut album of the band. After Pooh, that was the EP. So, how do you feel? How do you feel since it's your debut album? And what expectations do you have, or how do you think your album will be received?
Go for it, Sander.
How do you think the album will be received? um, for me, the whole experience of recording the album was so much fun, so much playfulness. I was so happy that we did it how we did it. Um, and looking back on it, I think we both are, everyone in the band's just proud of what we done to it. But I don't, our expectations, mine are already exceeded. Like, it's very nice to see how many people are responding to the music so far. um Also, the amount of comments, messages, it's really heartwarming to see. I did not expect that. So yeah, for now it's been a very nice ride for me, actually. I really, yeah, it's amazing how it's being received. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
I agree. Same thing. It's insane to see the response we're getting so far with just 2 singles. When we
Mhm.
released the first one, I think we were all really nervous because it was something new and it kind of came out of nowhere for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Also, it was the product of the whole, the whole weird pandemic year and not seeing many people and being isolated, and to make something, to record a piece of art in that period is weird and not fun. So to be at this point now,
Mhm.
where we also see that the world is opening up again and our album is coming out, it's such an amazing feeling. And like Sander said, just the response to the first 2 singles was so good. Yeah, we can't wait to
Mhm.
show the rest of the album to the world and see what people think.
Yeah, I also remember when we were recording the video clip, it was actually quite a long time ago when we saw each other. So because
Exactly.
of the
Yeah.
pandemic, we rehearsed at home and we see each other through video calls. But at the day of the recording of the video clip, it was months. It was like, oh, that's a long time ago. Hi, how are you?
Wow.
Yeah.
And
So it was
when,
a strange period. Yeah.
wow, great. And when did you shoot the video of the first single?
Where did we shoot it? It was, where was it again, Stefan? I don't really
It's in a
remember.
local hangar. It's in a town called Keerbergen, I think, or
Keerbergen.
something
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah,
close to that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a hangar that's used for, I think, mostly art expositions. But there have been musicians who have done stuff there, like a few live sessions or something more visual based. And our drummer Lander, he has his own business, his own company. He's in construction, and so he got to know them, and he told us like, yeah, guys, there's this really cool hangar somewhere nearby. Wouldn't it be great if we could do a video there? And we went to visit it, and yeah, we were like, okay, this is it. This is how we want to throw ourselves into the world for the first time. And that's the great thing about the video. I think it's a video where you can see our faces and see who we are, but that also has something like magical and something out of the ordinary, in such a big empty place. So yeah, that's because of London mostly that we ended up there.
Mhm. Yeah, and it means you did art with your music, so it's the best location exposing some other kind of art that is music itself, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
it's really great, really, really interesting. And well, the title of the album, Meridian, have a general meaning when you compare to the meaning of the individual tracks on the record. Tell us a little about that.
The name Meridian actually came a little bit out of nowhere. We had finished the album. Yeah, it was finished. We were recording the lyrics or recording the vocals, I mean. And I think it was actually our live sound engineer who suggested it for a name. We told him like, yeah, we still don't have a title for the album and we're still looking for one. And he knew what the album was about. And he just suggested that, and we were like, okay, that's not bad. Yeah, okay. And we kept talking about it, and it kind of stuck because it's something that is both very concrete, like the meridians of the earth, but is also sounds like a kind of magical place, like another dimension or something like that. So it seemed to fit. It's like it feels like this is the location where the story of the album is happening to me. It feels like that's the name of the planet or whatever the story is happening.
And to me, it was also beautifully short. So you have like a name. You can call it something except for like a sentence, or it sounds wonderful. Meridian. It's like a powerful short thing.
Yeah.
So that works very well. Yeah.
Yeah, great, great. And I love how you develop this album. It's really, really deep. I love the lyrics, by the way. Um, but I'm curious. How do you think that? Sorry. Sorry. How do you think that this album Meridian shows the development of the band from the EP Who that was made back in 2018 to this day? How has the group evolved to what it is today?
How has it evolved? I think when Kiaran opened the band up, like Stefan said, and he had this like, okay, maybe Sander and Stefan can join the band. We had a lot more things to play with. So suddenly there is a possibility there can be vocals. There is also the possibility for a second guitar. And I think that what Hippotraktor was at first without us, now he had also the possibility to go in another direction. So I think that how it evolved, I think the first song we wrote, and you also wrote lyrics for Stefan, wasn't it? Manifest the Mountain.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I think to me, that's a great example because the complexity of what first two EPs were, to what Manifest the Mountain was Manifest the Fountain, Manifest the Mountain, was that, yeah, you can, now it's like time to let a vocal shine through and like an more easier guitar riff. And I think it was more of an aha moment, like, we can do this too. And it just happened. Yeah.
Yeah, true. It was really fun to know that we could do more, and to go from an instrumental band to having two vocalists is like a whole new world opening up, especially because we have quite a different register, where I have a more low and deep voice and Sander has a lot higher voice. So there were so many more options to choose from, and because of that, I think Kiaran, that's something he intended. He ended up with an album that was more dynamic as the EP. It was there was a lot more room for some breathing and some a little build, whereas the EP was like mostly full on action. So because of the extended lineup, that's kind of what happened. Just the idea, we've got these options, and this is what we did with
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Great, great. And thinking about the concept of the album, when I'm speaking as a fan, when I listen to an album, I usually try to like unravel what it represents, like the messages, the lessons, or even its secrets. And we try to know if it revolves around a concept or if visions represent something unique and unrepeatable. So, what can we expect from Meridian in that sense?
Yeah, there is definitely a big concept on which we based the album, and I have to say it was mostly inspired because of the music. I think it all started with the first track. That's I think Kiaran is really good at writing music that makes you visualize things. That's yeah, really immerses you and just yeah, creates visuals in my mind. And I started writing lyrics, and we worked them out together. And it was about mountains. It was about big huge things, as if they were being built by a giant machine, which is what I thought the Hippotraktor would possibly be, because no one knows what it is. So in my mind it's like a giant god machine, like surrounding a planet and sort of building the world. And that kind of started the concept, and we worked it out in the sense that the album is now about a human being who is growing up isolated, so meaning that there are no other human beings around him, and that he has to make his own stories and truths about the world that is surrounding him. Like he sees trees and he sees waters and mountains and stars, but there's no one around him to tell him what they mean, what they are, and where they come from. So the story is him trying to figure everything out with a very big dose of frustration and yeah, loneliness too. And actually ending with the desire to completely be destroyed and having the planet, the world, to be destroyed, because he believes that's his only escape from this experience that he does not understand. So that's the concept in a nutshell. And then we have a few songs that are really based on the elements, like the Manifest the Mountain, obviously, and then Mover of Skies, which is about the wind. Sons of Amisha is about the trees, Beacons about the stars and all that. So we have those songs, and then we have a few songs that are more about the inner struggle, and some a bit more hopeful, some a bit more desperate, and just yeah, kind of explaining how it feels to be in this lonely place.
Really interesting and deep. What are you talking about? And you, in fact, answer the next question that was related. And I did some background research about that, and I quote it that in the promo of the album that Meridian is an exploration of the evolutionary theory of naturalism, which argues that religion finds its origin in the deification of the forces of nature by early human beings. So then we said, well, you already answered what was the concept behind the album, but I'm really curious to know which song is your favorite one for Sandra and yourself, Stefan.
My favorite song. For me, it must be Manifest the Mountain. It's because it is such a powerful song in its simplicity. It has both of our voices. It has a very powerful drum groove, which Lander is magnificent in doing that. Then you have Kiara with a very strong riff. It has everything in there in just the first start of the song. Second one, you're good to go. Yeah, it's so powerful and so it's a statement for me. That's my favorite.
Yeah, for me, I think it's the last song of the album, A Final Animation, because it's the most heavy, but also like diverse song. There are some really weird side turns in the structure where you wouldn't really expect them, and it has a few guitar solos. and like, yeah, the most brutal ending ever. So I would say a final animation. Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah,
That's my second. That's
your
my second
second one.
favorite song.
Your second
Yeah,
favorite. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and in my case, something that I found really special with your album is that in my case, was really really tough to pick a favorite song because
Okay.
all the album was great. I mean, I when I listened to the first singles, and I was thinking about, oh, I don't think that there is another song that can be even better than the singles, but no, I was totally wrong. All the songs are really great, and but if I had to choose, my favorite will be Cat is in the Slumber. But so
Oh,
I'm really curious about that song because I love the rhythms, the transitions of the cleans and harsh vocals, also the instrumental transitions of the bass and the percussion led by Yusef, and that, wow, really really well done.
thank you.
And so and also the heaviness of the song. Well, all the songs have a really heavy song, which made the album really great. So what can you tell me about the development of this song, the lyrics and all the composition?
Well, it's that's a funny story actually, because this song is a new rendition of a song that was on the first EP. On the first EP, it was called Aftermath, and it was one of the songs that we chose to redesign with our new lineup. And I actually remember that was probably the first song I ever heard of Hippotraktor. So the Aftermath, the EP version. And I remember thinking way back then, damn, this would be cool with vocals. So it's really funny that that actually ended up happening one day. Yeah, we just tuned it down even more, like probably a third down.
Yeah.
We played it on an 8-string, added vocals, kept it really simple. There's, I mean, the rhythms are very weird, especially like in the middle part, but in essence it's a really simple and heavy song. But yeah, I really love that one too. It was really cool to redesign that and do something new with it. And it will be our third single.
Ah, yeah, that's your third favorite one.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of guessed. No, not really, but at least in your top favorite. Nice. And well, talking about the concept of the album, you mentioned some songs that describe the best the theory about the naturism. That will be Son of Amnesia. Yeah, Sons of Amnesia,
Yep.
is the mountain. But specifically talking about the theory of naturism, which songs do you think that describe the best this theory?
It's the 4 songs or 5. I have to think for a second. So we have the mountains, we have the wind, we have the trees in Sons of Amisha. Then we have the final animation, which is the destruction of the world, but also mostly revolving around water, because it's kind of calling for a flood. So those songs combined, yeah, I think that's it. They really kind of talk about that naturism thing and like assigning a sort of personality or even a divinity to an element like a tree, which could be like if you're the only human around and you see a tree, you could think that it's a type of human that's just different, that doesn't talk and doesn't walk, but it's maybe the next best thing. So you may recognize yourself in it and maybe consider it even to be some kind of god or higher being. Yeah. So those 4 songs combined are the essence of the whole naturism thing.
Awesome. And what I really love about your band is that a quality that I really found really interesting is the chemistry of each of you, because each of you really stands out. For example, the mix of your voices, wow, is truly unbelievable. You two guys have a really powerful voice in a different way and really expressive, and it really stands out in the album, your voices. So I'm curious, do all the members were in other bands? During the recording process of the album, each of you composed their own part, or what was the creative process involved?
Your turn, Sander.
My turn.
Yeah.
The creative process, a lot of the instrumentation is done was done by Kiaran. He had, like Stefan told, like a vision for songs, and then Stefan felt a lot of things when hearing Kiaran's music, and then the lyrics came. So Kiaran did most of the instrumentation, and then Stefan actually told the story about Meridian, about the guy who wants to give meaning to the world. So most of the composition for our voices is done by Stefan. Some minor alterations were did by me, like, oh, that's a bit too high for me, or that's a bit too low. So I did maybe like 10% of it, but 90% was done by Stefan. Yeah.
Yeah, and as for all the other instruments like bass and drums, they're also mostly written by Kiaran. Lander, our drummer, is really good though at kind of doing his own thing with what Kiaran programs. When he writes his demos, they're programmed drums, and then Lander makes his own version of it. And the thing that really makes him stand out, why we all love him as a drummer, is his crazy fills. He's the type of guy that can do like fills that last 4 bars. And where everybody just turns at him like, what the hell are you doing? And but he pulls it off. So a lot of the crazy fills on the album, that's really where Lander has his input. Yeah, that should definitely be mentioned too. Yeah.
Exactly. We were in the studio recording the drums, and we were like the 4 of us in the recording booth, and then you have like Lander drumming, and we through the window we were just like cheering up, like, come on, give us some other magical fill. And he just went like the end of a song, mental. And everyone was like, it was almost like a football game. We went like, oh, damn, how sick was that? So, yeah, he had, it should be mentioned, he made a lot of the crazy drum parts, the crazy drum fills. Exactly. Yeah.
And he recorded all of his drum parts basically in one day, entire album, basically in one day.
Yeah, exactly. I think one song not because of just studio time. I don't know, but just
because we were still setting up and sound checking.
Yeah.
I hear that you mentioned a lot Kiaran. I think he's really really the mastermind in all the process. And
yeah, he is. He kind of is. Yeah.
Well, not all, but yeah, it has. He is involved with everything. I mean, I think that also he makes and produce, for example, the album of Lead, right? And I think, I don't know if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, really. He helped a little about the production of Psychonaut, right? And Lich.
True.
Wow.
Yeah, true. He's also, he plays guitar in Lich. So he's very involved in the music making and production of that band. And for Psychonaut, you guys work with Kiaran quite a lot. Also.
Yeah, almost always. Yeah, he's done our past 2 albums because he is a graduated engineer. That's what he studied, and he's been doing it for like 4 years now. I want to say 4 or 5 years. And he's really young, but he's the best guy like in the country, I think, and not just saying that because we've known him for 12 years and he's our friend, but he's seriously insane. And it just happens that he's also an insane guitarist, and yeah, he's the guy you want in the band.
Yeah, you want him in the band.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Well, it's really interesting because I read when I did some research, I read a lot his name, and also I watched some promos of Psychonaut, and I see Karen there, and in the concert of Leech I see him, and now Hippotraktor. Wow, it's really amazing.
Mhm.
He's a great guy.
Yeah,
definitely.
He is. Absolutely.
Okay, well, let's see another question. For both of you, how difficult is it to sing the lead vocals and while you are playing the riffs at the same time? For example, I didn't know that Stefan also do the percussions. I just had an idea that you know a little about percussions because the video of A Great Realization when you play like the congas or something like that. And now
Mhm.
Sander, that is the guitarist in their band lead. So I'm curious how typical it is for both of you to do the things at the same time.
um for me it's quite all right because we at some parts I do not have to play. I'm cheating a little bit. No, so and there's a lot of vocal line and it's a lot of and I need to focus really a lot on that. Most of the time my guitar parts are a bit simpler, a bit easier.
Oh, oh.
So yeah, I need to combine stuff, of course, but I cannot play an insane solo and do a scream at the same time. That's just then when I scream, I close my eyes, so I can see what I'm doing. So, but in the arrangements, I know I had this conversation with Kieran that he was also like thinking about that a little bit. That one thing at a time should stand out. Like when I play a lead riff, it's okay to listen to the lead riff and let our voices be on the background a little bit. So maybe not sing at that part. When we are singing, we don't need to have a crazy guitar line or massive drum fill because then you don't know where your attention is going. So it's all right. It's doable. It's perfectly doable because we kept that in mind. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, true. For me
Okay.
too, I actually never have to play percussion and sing at the same time. So that's good. I have to switch between the two, but
Mhm.
that's okay. Unless I drop a stick, then that's like in the video, like actually
Like
happened
in
in the
the
video.
video, yeah.
That happens. No, but for the rest, it's fine. I can
Yeah.
focus like 90% of the time on singing, so
Mhm.
I'm good.
Mhm.
Awesome, awesome. And talking a little about your musical taste, I'm curious, what was the last album, band, or song that you remember you listened that surprised you or astonished you the most?
Ooh, let me think. I'm going to cheat by opening up my Spotify and check what I was listening to. But I think
Yeah,
Stefan, you go first. If you have an, if
yeah,
you,
yeah. I was thinking, it's I don't want to say old news, but it's an album that's been out for I think 9 or 10 months now. But it's still the album I immediately think of. It's an album by our friends in another Belgian band called Potamus. They have an
Oh,
album out. Yeah, it's exactly. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah. So that's yeah, an insane album. Instantly one of my favorite albums. And it's Belgian, and there are friends, and some the guitarist did the artwork for Hippotraktor. He's the
Oh,
guitarist and
really?
singer of Potamus. Yeah, small
Wow.
world. Yeah. So
Oh,
Potamus Raya.
great choice. Great
Mhm.
choice. And you, Sandra?
And now for me, there's also a Belgian band I really love. They're called the Guru Guru, and I'm almost instantly fan of everything they release. From their first album to their last now, they released a short album, 4 songs, I think. Amazing, just love it. That's more kind of my thing. like the crazy rock vibe, like some but your eye goes a little bit twitchy. I think that's a little bit crazy or weird. That's my kind of music. And they have these beautiful guitar riffs, and sometimes like, oh, what did you do there? Yeah, I really love them. Really big fan.
Mhm. I have to check that band. I don't know
The
them.
Guru
so-
Guru, check it out. They're amazing. They're wonderful. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much for the recommendation.
Mm.
And speaking of Belgium, I think that your country has a very interesting music scene, including you guys, of course, and each of your bands. So my question is, which are the bands that you admire the most of your country, and if you have any recommendations? Well, Stefan already mentioned Potamus, that is a really amazing post metal band. And you have other bands that you admire the most and you want to recommend to our listeners?
Sure. So obviously the biggest name I think in our country in the whole post-metal scene is Amenra, who are just, I don't think I need to explain who they are or what they do. Amenra, they're one of our biggest inspirations. Another band I immediately think of is Steak, previously known as Steak Number 8. Now they're just Steak. Band we've been following for like 10 years. Amazing band. Steak, check them out.
Brutus.
Brutus, yeah, of course.
Brutus, yeah. Also very amazing band. We also know them for like 6 or 7 years or so. How long are they going right now? Amazing.
About 9 years, I think. Yeah, they
9
started
years, okay.
same year as us, as Psychonaut. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and there are so many more. It's really cool to see how that's also being noticed around on the other side of the world, that the Belgian scene is really alive. And I don't know if that's always been the case, but it's like the past 10 years there's been this explosion of mostly heavy music, but also in other genres where it's really cool to see that and to be proud of the music that's coming out of our country.
Exactly.
Yeah, really I really admire your scene, and you are really close, and you support each other. It's great to see that you support support other bands, like posting stories about the concerts. For example, Podamus, that I can see stories of them posting like stories of Psychonaut where are in the concert, and you also post stories of Potamus and like that. So it's great to see that support in Belgium of the music. And well, we are getting into the end of the interview. I found a final question that is like is kind of tough, because it's like a tradition to ask this question in the blog in order to know a band beyond their musical perspective. And like I said before, probably won't be easy to replace soon for both of you. But the question is, if you could relate or compare your musical aesthetics and the concept it embraces to any other artistic field, such like can be a book, a movie, a play, or a painting, what will that be and why?
That's a good question.
That's it's the first time someone asked me that.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
Take your time, don't worry.
Okay. And are we talking about Hippotraktor?
Yes.
Okay, we're very much talking about the. Okay.
Yeah, I think I almost immediately have to say something like Lord of the Rings on one hand, like this mythical world. But that's a bit ambitious, to compare yourself to. So let's not do it.
Not really.
No, yeah, it's to me it's music that is really beyond the normal world or something. It's very much yeah, transcendental or whatever. To me, it feels like the story doesn't take place on this planet. So and it's all very, the concept is so large and like very universal. So I would say something like that, like Lord of the Rings, or maybe a Salvador Dali painting, something like that.
That was I
Something
thinking, yeah.
a bit more surreal, like there's a link to the world, but it's distorted and it's not completely what you remember it to be. That's the two things I think of. Yeah.
Great choices. And you
Mine,
have
yeah, I was actually thinking about another band, but they also had this amazing artwork for their work. It's, I don't know, you probably know Siguros. It's a very soft but beautiful and wonderful band. They make beautiful etheric music. And they have, I will try to show it on my phone, but they have this beautiful album cover. It's cloudy, and in the middle there's this tiny little ship. And to me, it's like this tiny little human thing in this vast world of possibilities. And also the thing with the Dali painting or something like Lord of the Rings, you have these magical surroundings and a tiny human figure. And I was looking for something like that, and Sigaras popped in my mind. And I'm looking the cover now. That is actually really beautiful. Let me see. I hope. There you go. And also, I hope you can see it. The boat is floating above the ocean a bit. You see it?
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it makes it like, what's happening? Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Nice.
Really beautiful. Really beautiful. So I think that that will be all. And I want to thank you again, Sander and Stefan, for being here. It was a really pleasure and really a truly honor to have both of you. Thank you for answer our questions and have this little conversation. Not that little, but yeah, was was really great. And I wish you nothing less than the best with Meridian, a really great
Thank you.
album. And looking forward to listening. Well, I already listened the album, but yeah, I can't wait to see the response. That was really great. So I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, Lucy. It
Thank
was
you.
very fun. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Really nice to be here.
Nice to meet
Exactly.
you.
Very
Both.
nice to be here. Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye
You
bye.
too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.